Hello, friends. Pamela here with Passionate About Scrapbooking, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the Texas Hill Country in Fredericksburg, Texas. Welcome to Make It Monday Live. I've been on hiatus for a couple of weeks for a variety of reasons. So let me know if you're joining me. Give me a thumbs up or say hello and let me know where you're viewing from. I'm so excited to be live again. I've missed y'all. I've missed creating on a regular basis. Good morning, Charisse. Thank you so much for being here and saying hello. Oh, what a few weeks it has been. July did not start off how I hoped it would start. We've just gotten through the first half of the year, looking forward to the next half, and it's been heartbreaking, unfortunately, especially here in the Texas Hill Country where I live. I'm just 30 minutes away from Kerrville, Texas, which unfortunately most people in the world probably know where that's located at now due to the horrific floods that happened a little over a week ago on July 4th, 2025. 10 days ago. Today's the 14th. Really heartbreaking and still kind of unbelievable. So we'll be talking about that a little bit. I have photos that I want to document today around the Kerrville floods and share a little bit about what's been on my heart this past 10 days. And this is a collection that I have wanted to use for a while now, but not for this reason, of course. I was just hoping to weave my faith and my journey of restoration this year, my healing journey, in through this beautiful collection, the Kintsugi Inspirations Suite Collection. And once you dive into this collection, it's so beautiful and meaningful, and I'm excited to play with it today. Now, I'm not sure yet if I will be going live on Wednesday. I know I won't be going live on Friday because this week, on Wednesday, July 16th, we kick off our very first Stamping Up album retreat. And I have a friend, Debbie, that's coming over to do that with me. So I'm going to have to rearrange my whole entire space so that we can work in here together and create our album retreat scrapbook pages. But I will be sharing that through social media, what we're doing, what we're creating. If you haven't signed up for the album retreat, I think you still have time. You won't get your kit in time, but when you purchase your kit for the album retreat, you'll get access to the Facebook group, the private Facebook group, and you can follow along with the videos. And then as soon as your kit arrives, they'll be recorded so you can watch them and create. So I haven't looked but and or heard that the kits are sold out yet. So they still are available. And once you purchase your kit, you'll have lifetime access to all that information, and you'll be able to create a beautiful album full of 12 by 12 layouts for the entire year, January through December. They are beautiful. Good morning, Debbie. Yes, I know. I can't wait. I'm so excited. So, anyways, this kit that we're going to be working today is absolutely beautiful. I created my Mail It Monday card. So this is an Insta-Hop that I do with our fellow artisans for 2025. And not all the artisans are participating, only those. It changes from week to week on who's able to participate. And I've been trying my best to do it each week. I did miss last week due to all the things happening with the flood and being so close to home. And it actually did directly affect our family. My cousin Steve and his wife were on the river at one of the RV parks, and their travel trailer, while they were in it, was washed away. Marilyn survived. They both got out of the trailer, and she survived. She clung to a tree branch or something, and someone rescued her. But unfortunately, we lost my cousin Steve. His body was recovered on Thursday of last week, or maybe Wednesday, but we learned about it Thursday morning and are heartbroken by that. So it's been devastating for so many people, but for our family as well. So yeah, it's just hard to believe that someone that, I mean, he's probably 10 years older than I am, maybe even a little bit older than that, 10 or 15 years older. And I just remember from being a kid, growing up, and I think we spent just about every Christmas day together. We would always go over to my mom's side of the family and spend time with that side of the family. So be praying for his wife and their twin daughters, which are my cousins as well. So this card I created yesterday, had so much fun playing with some of the designer series paper, and there's an awesome embossing folder. I'll see if I can find it here in a second. There it is. So if you're not familiar what Kintsugi, it's pronounced something like that, is it's about the broken pottery that they repair with gold. So that's where the gold foil and the gold strips come into play. And of course, this one right here that I created just had the pottery as it is, I guess, before it's broken. And then you can actually like take I'll show you in a minute maybe. I have some of the dies cut where you can put it into the vase or onto the vase to make it look like it's been repaired with gold. So my theme for today is beauty in the brokenness. So how you find the beauty in the devastation that's happening all around us. And it not just because of the flood, it's in our everyday lives as well. So anyways, had lots of fun with this. This is some retired gold thread that I wish they hadn't retired it. I still have some available, but it worked perfectly with this. And they have these little medallions. They're part of the suite called Flower Accents in gold. I brought in a little bit of gold foil back there as well. Excuse me. One second. All right, I'm back. Maybe the frog's out of my throat. I don't realize I have the allergies going on till I go live and start talking. So, as far as the Instahot, be sure to check this out on my Instagram and my Facebook page, and you can hop along with the artisans and see some really beautiful, amazing cards. I'll be using that one to send to some first responders. And Debbie, if you haven't checked your text messages, do. I just came across someone in Bernie that they're doing cards for the first responders. And I reached out to them, and we'll be taking some of our cards to them tomorrow is my plan. So Debbie and I got together last Thursday to make cards because I've been saving um, contact information or names, like screenshots of posts of all those volunteers, first responders, businesses, individuals, all kinds of stuff, so that we can send them cards, thank you cards, encouragement cards for all the rescue relief work that they're doing down in Kerrville, especially. So there's that embossing folder I picked up a minute ago and then just forgot to talk about. It's the Join Together 3D embossing folder. It's so neat. And I used that in my card on my background right here, and even did it a little bit. You can't really see. Yeah, you can see a little bit on the gold circle that I die cut as well. Lots of neat ways that you can use that. So you can see it. There's some of the vein. Well, this may have been cut out of the paper right here, I think. Then I was looking, there's the embossing folder behind here in this card right here. And then on this next page, you will see in your catalog, you can find the catalog online as well if you don't have a hard copy of it. And there's I don't know if you can see it. You can see the gold vein a little bit in there, maybe. There's a stamp you can do, but also a die in there as well. I'll show you those up close in 1 second. And then I thought this was really neat technique where you take the white and gold designer series paper and you can color in using your stamping blends. And then I love this right here. I attempted that yesterday and then gave up and just did the cardstock with the embossing folder. But there you can see that as well. Really, the vein inside the vase there too. So always check out your catalog. There's lots of great tips and ideas about how you can use your products. So there is the beautiful stamp set and the dies. Let me show you those dies that are in here so you can cut. I actually went through one of the sheets of DSP and cut a bunch of the paper. Let me just show you a little bit of that. So they have 2 sheets of designer series paper like this, and you can go through and cut all these pieces out. I think my other piece, I went through and I did it in half so I could put it through my machine, and then these just go over top, and you can die cut that out along with these. There's that matches, and then of course the large vase. And so you can die cut every single one of these out. And then this is the back side of that paper. And then let me see if I have the full sheet of this other one. Just a second. There it is. Of course, this is my favorite paper. How beautiful is that? So you can use the die cuts these to cut some of these out as well if you want. I'll be using this paper today. I cut it so that I'd have a few corners for my scrapbook page. And one of the other patterns, oh, there's that one I was talking about that you can color in if you wanted to, but it's just pretty white and gold like that. So lots of great ways to use that. Yay! Debbie said she made some more cards. I have a couple of people sending me cards, so I'll see if what's really cool about this, what I found this morning, it's a business, like a craft, arts and craft business in Bernie, and one of their husbands is a first responder, a firefighter, I think. And so he's going to take the cards directly to the front lines and hand them out for us. So I was so excited to see that. I was trying to be patient, but I do want to mail some out as well to like the local businesses that are helping as well. Okay, so let's get busy on our page, our layout. This is our color combination. We got Misty Moonlight, Cloud Cover, Old Olive, Petal Pink, and Basic Beige. I did grab, I don't know that I'll use them today, but I did grab my stamping blends in a bunch of those colors too. I wasn't really planning on doing any coloring, though we might do just a tiny bit of stamping. And let me put all of this so I can find it easily. Some other products that'll work really well with some of this. I don't think this is available any longer, but I have the metallic enamel effects in gold. I've done some really fun things with this, so I might do that on some of this, I'm not sure. And then, of course, gold embossing powder. I don't think I'll do that today, but oh, let me show you this one more little technique here. You can, I stamped the pottery in Misty Moonlight, and then I used my Misty Moonlight and blending brush just to add a little color on the sides there. Does anybody know what that type of pottery is called? I have no idea, but I'm pretty sure there's probably a name for it. All right, so I'm going to move some things out of the way. I've got my basic white cardstock. For me personally, that's one of my go-tos. And then I like to just add cardstock and designer series paper to bring all the color out. But then I still have a little bit of um, white space. All right, I had one of my ends here that was a little dinged up. Oops, don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to make sure I put that one down in this corner because I'm going to be covering it up with some paper. So always, if you have cardstock that maybe the ends got messed up just a tiny bit, think through your design and you can cover it up. So this one I'm going to put up here in the corner because that's where my other piece is going to be. So if you're joining me, say hello. Let me know where you're viewing from. So I don't know where I came across it on Facebook somewhere, but someone shared these I think they're 4 1/4, 4 1/2. Let me see here. Actually 4 3/4 inch clear envelopes. I got them off of Amazon. I do have a link that I can share later. They're specifically for like putting in the paper pumpkin um, stamp sets to store them, but I grabbed them and I cut a bunch of the little veins right here. I think I was calling them binds earlier, but they're veins. And then these are some of the designer series paper that I cut out. So I have that handy. And then there's the backside of that paper. I'm going to use a little bit of that in my design. I have quite a few photos here that I have gotten off the Facebook primarily. This was Camp Mystic, where all the beautiful little 8-year-old and 9-year-old little girls were the victims, the ones that swept away, unfortunately. Um, and there's a picture, this, so it will document the Guadalupe River. There's the Mystic, I'm assuming that says Mystic Crossing on there, and how it got beat up. There's a camp shirt that they found. There's a photo, Jesus wept. Someone left a sign there around the, I don't know if that's possibly Camp Mystic in the background. This was one, oh, this was heart-wrenching. One of the first responders kind of breaking down. Y'all may have seen some of these photos as well. This one, that is an F-250 Ford pickup truck buried in the riverbed. So that gives you a little bit more perspective of how the river moved and the silt moved. And then this is the Wall of Hope, where it's downtown Kerrville. So it's all flowers. I chose to do it all in black and white because of the colors of my paper. And then I have a couple of blank pieces here where I can put my title in. So I will be incorporating a few 4x4 flip flaps in here to get my journaling in, and a few extra photos because I think my design will only show like 5 photos on the front. I took some of that designer series paper, like 2 of the opposite corners of it, and cut along the vein so that I could put one down here and one up here. And then these were 8.5 by 11 pieces of petal pink. I cut them down to 8.5 by 8.5. And so these are going to be tucked up under here, and these will have a grid of photos. And I think I wanted to do these. I cut them a little wider than I needed them to be, but they're going to go right around in here somewhere. Just kind of bring my page together. I'll put this underneath here as well. So let's get busy. I did all these little veins because I want to do some gold all around here. So it'll make the cracking, kind of like the cracked look, the broken look. And my journaling will end up, let me look. So I'm kind of highlighting today let's see here. Yeah, the verse Psalm 34:18, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted. And there were some ideas. Let me look back. Oh, I was thinking about doing some splattering, maybe with the Wink of Stella and that Enamel Effects Basics. I haven't quite decided if I want to do that yet. But here is what my journaling is probably going to say. So my title is going to be Beauty in the Brokenness. I think I'm going to do beauty up here, and then I'll do in the brokenness, kind of like on one of those little text strips or whatever, like my journaling strips I like to do. So sometimes the most sacred beauty rises from the hardest seasons. This page is about one of those moments. After the floods swept through Kerr County, I found myself overwhelmed, not just by the damage, but by the response, the helping hands, the prayers, the quiet strength. Kintsugi teaches us that brokenness doesn't need to be hidden. In fact, it's in those very cracks that something golden can shine. I believe God does the same with us. He fills the fractured parts of our stories with grace, light, and meaning. This layout is my way of honoring both the pain and the beauty, the sorrow and the healing, the brokenness and the gold. So, can really expand upon the community, the kindness that's coming out of the tragedy that's happened, um, the damaged area versus something blooming. That's kind of like where in my photos you've got the destruction back here, but then we've got the wall of hope that they've created. So this is all the flowers and florals they put on here. It's a fence line next to a business, and they've put photos of many of the victims of the flood up here. And so it's kind of like a wall of hope, wall of remembrance. Good morning, Christine. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been there. It's been scary even the last couple of days because yesterday we had storms come through. There's storms this morning. Um, and it's all been over there in Kerrville. Like we got a little bit of rain yesterday, and then it hasn't been raining here right where I'm at. I'm about 30 minutes away from where Kerrville is. So it's just devastating. So they've had to stop the search parties, remove them from the riverbeds because the rivers are flooding all over Texas again. Not just here, but all up in even back in my hometown, San Angelo and Cristobal, and then Lampasas, and like all over the Texas Hill Country, Central Texas. All right, so let's get busy. Let's see what we can get done. I don't want this to be a doom and gloom live, technically. I mean, we're talking about tragedy, but we want to find the beauty in all of it. So that's where our creativity comes into play. So here are, I don't know, I was thinking I might do a little bit of this little flower right here around the edges, maybe a tone on tone of this right here. Let me find my littlest block, and then we'll bring in, since I don't have my glass mat, I'll do my piercing pad. I don't even know what Stampin' Up! Actually calls this. I always forget, but it's great for stamping on, kind of multi-purpose. And then I've got my silicone mat here as well. All right, let me, whoops. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna do, most of this is going to be covered up. I think I'll flip it over this way. And I'm just gonna do a few kind of like random stamping. So I'm gonna kind of tilt my stamp back and forth and just add a little texture around the corners here, because most of this will be covered up with photos or my title. I thought about another something else you could do. If you've been following me for a while, you've actually probably seen me use this metallic enamel effects where I've used my palette knife and gone along the edges with it, but you have to set that aside to dry for a while. So I kind of decided against that today. All right, so it just gives a little bit of texture around there, because adding different types of textures to your projects is is kind of what steps them up and makes them even more beautiful. All right, so what's everyone been up to since I've been missing in action from here for a while, for about 2 weeks? I've been working on deadlines. I had quite a few that I had to do. You probably may have seen my posts on Stampin' Up's social medias. I had a creative project that was due, and then I guess that's good. I had my monthly assignment that's usually due toward the end of the month. So the last week of June, I was super busy getting all that done. So thankful that I got that done prior to the flooding. And then this past week, I had my, what was it, July 2025 paper pumpkin alternate projects that I had to do and get mailed off to Stamping Up. So those will be shared on July 29th, I think. I need to double check on that. But that was, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, I'll just say that that was fun to create those and have that opportunity. I don't know if I want it to face that way or let me see. That'll work. Yep. Okay, these are, I think they were 2 1/4. I probably could have done like 1 3/4 inch, but they're 4 inch pieces up here, 2 2/4 inch right here. And then I want to apply this centered. I don't think there's, I was looking at what else is on here. I don't think there's anything else I want to put on there. And I'm running out of tape, I think. Yep. All right, let's see if I can get this. I think I only have one. I need to order some more. I only have one more of these. It's my last one. I probably should order some today because I'm going to need a lot of adhesive. I do have my uh, seal. I think I have a bunch of it. I need to pull it out and check on it. I better make sure I have plenty of adhesive for album retreat this week. So I know Debbie's participating in album retreat because she's coming over here to do that. Okay, this is an 8.5 by 8.5. So it needs to be about 10 1/4 and 1 3/4 on all sides. I think that's pretty good. And once I get in this, there we go. And then I'm going to adhere this right into this corner over here. And I do want to overlap that. Let's see, make sure. Just like that. And then we'll do the same thing over here. We can get our photos and then we'll work on our title. All right, so 1/4 and just kind of eyeballing it. I think that's pretty straight. Hey, Debbie Garrett. Thanks for joining me. Hope you're doing well. All right, and then this one I want up in this corner. All right, see if I can get that lined up right. So it overlaps like that. Now I'm gonna tuck some things underneath there. So my title, of course, is gonna go right up in here. So I'm kind of thinking about like that. And then let's look at some of the pictures that I want to highlight specifically. Is the Camp Mystic. See how these are 4x4. I think the Wall of Hope is going to be good down here because it kind of creates a maybe a flow of the story, maybe. And I might do these in the flip flaps that I have. So maybe I'll do this in a flip flap. You want to be mindful of where it's at on the page too, so that it flips up and it's not being interfered by the cluster or the title. So this would be a good one. Probably, this is what I'll do. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of this one right up here at the top. And then I can fold that flap over. I'm going to line this up behind here. I decided not to do any type of mats. Okay, so it's attached, it's centered on there like that. And then this one can go inside here. And then I'll put some of my journaling behind here after the live. And so we can go ahead and put this down. Now for our album retreat this week, Karen, I'm sure it'll be Karen, I'm guessing, she will be teaching us how to add, I'm going to open this up so I can see it better, how to add our photos, actually how to add our flip flaps to our pages and how to cut our page protectors. Okay, I think that's going to work. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to make this is just a photo place card. I'm going to use it just like I would use my cardstock. And that'll be my base for my title. Okay, so there's that. And then I can put this one down here. And then I think I'm going to tuck that up under there as well. My cluster is going to go down here and up here. So I got that. Pop that up just a little bit to get that tucked up under there. And I'm going to do this one right there. And so see, we just see a little bit of texture of that stamping around there. Oh, I understand that. It's one of those things you gotta save all your money for next time because it is so fun. Start saving now for the next one. I'm hoping and praying we continue to have them. They were my favorite event of all time, was close to my heart because I love all the fun new techniques we learn. There'll be some like hidden journaling, hidden tags. I think there's even like some fun folds on the in there as well. All right, so about like that. Just gonna get that tucked up in there, and I think that'll work. So I'm curious, does anybody else scrapbook like world events or things that I know normally we don't scrapbook about tragedy too much, but I am learning that this is, not sure I want to do this one. I'm learning that, just a second, I'm thinking that it really helps me process. It's part of my healing journey to document some of this. When we had the pandemic, I did some really cool pages about that too, documenting the history of it, basically, all that happened and what we did during that time. I think I'm going to put it here and not over here. So let me put, maybe I'll do a photo on this one since I already put adhesive there. I'll do it like this. I've got tape there. Let me do. So you have to kind of think through how your photos, if it's going to flip up, that's got to be upside down. So I'm going to put this one. I'm just going to glue these together. There we go. So if you joined late, that is an F-250 Ford pickup truck submerged in the riverbed. So can you imagine how deep that is? Ugh, just heartbreaking. All right, so there's that one. So I can adhere this. This one I'm just going to put on here, and then I'll have and maybe another journaling spot down here underneath it. You'll see how that goes over top of that one a little bit. That's fine because you want to be able to flip it up. All right, and then we'll put this one down. Then we can, whoops, work on the title. Oh, I just got a warning about flash flood risk. So I think we're good for rain for a while. So if you're praying for rain for our area, please don't. We need a break. That everybody's very much on I don't know the term, erring on the side of caution I don't know if that's how I want to say that, but all right. So here are all my little, I was thinking my clusters might be something like up in this area. And I don't know if I want to put another pattern back here, maybe behind it. There's some flowers that we can play around with to go in there as well. But all of these pieces, look at how delicate and cool these are. So that was cut out of gold foil cardstock. And I was just going to put them in different places on the page. I wonder if you could maybe down here and like that. They don't have to touch one another, but let me show you too. This piece right here, I think, I was gonna say maybe it's not a little bit bigger. I thought this was the piece that was supposed to go. I think it does. Seems a little bit longer, so you could do it like that, and then I guess you would just cut it off where you need to cut it off at. But it would make it look like it's been pieced together with the gold, and that's what the kintsugi is. So when they're gluing kind of, I guess, the pottery back together with the gold. All right, but I'm just going to use it on my background. I guess keep these pieces intact. So that'll kind of show the beauty before and then the beauty and the brokenness. So I think that's what my plan was, beauty in the brokenness. So I've got to decide. I think I'm going to have to do like the little alphabets, and I need to look through before I cut letters. I have all of these. I need to look and see what colors I have. If I have any colors that will work. There is some. I don't know if I want to do petal pink though. I probably need to do another color. I could do cloud cover, and also old olive is part of this as well. So I've been keeping those kind of handy so that I can use them. There's a floating G somewhere from another one. So the green might be the perfect color. Look at I just want the word beauty. So we won't do the petal pink since we have it back here. Let's see what we have out of here. I'm sure it kind of looks like I'm going to have to definitely cut some others, I would think. We'll look at both these. There's a B. Yeah, it doesn't look like I have any E's. I would think I'd have a Y, but not sure. There it is. And a T. All right, I think I just need an E. B-E-A, right? So somewhere like that. I don't think before I do that one, let's look at, well, don't even know if I know where it's at right now. So we may not have a choice. Give me a second. I was looking for my alphabet a la mode. There it is. Beauty might fit. So let me push this up. Let's look and see. Actually, I think it might, and that would be better. if I can fit it on here, just because it's bigger, and I do like the font a little bit better. Yep, okay, I think I'm going to do this instead. I'm spelling it right, right? All right, so we won't. I think now what I need to decide is, I don't know, maybe that green is a little too bold. So maybe it needs to be with the cloud cover. Let me just bring a few. Yeah, that's probably what I need to do. Okay, I'm going to do cloud cover. It'll go with this as well. And you know what? I think I'm just going to cut it out of that instead of cardstock. That'll bring that texture over here a little bit. Let me get all this picked up and put away. All right. So let's find in here my scraps. Let me see what. Okay, I might have a smaller piece. Let me look in my stash here. I think I'll just use this one. This was the, again, I showed this earlier. This was the other half of that designer series paper. I'm going to save this so I can cut all these out. And that'll be like one full sheet that I'll have all these little images that I can use throughout my projects. And we'll come through here and add this in a few minutes. I'm going to do them in like 3 different places on each side, I think. All right. So okay, I have to bring in my old Fiskars printer. I'm waiting on new blades for my Stampin' Up trimmer. I'm going to do, I think, just a 4-inch piece here. I found a bunch of these blades this past week, and I was like, okay, thank goodness, because my blade on my Stampin' Up one was not working well. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to off camera. So give me 1 second. I guess I can at least put the letters on here. I can probably get it all right up here too. Alrighty, see if I can get it over to my cutter. I actually cleaned off my space over here to the side. Well, it was clean briefly. All right. So if you've been hanging around, I think, I don't know if, yeah, it popped out. I lost my C. I don't know where the C is to my alphabet a la mode. But I did figure out I can use one of this for a C, thank goodness. Right there, and I can just clip off that little tail. So I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm gonna have to buy another set. All right, so the pattern is super subtle. You can't hardly tell, but it matches. Okay, so there's that for my title. And then I'll just do, which I may go ahead and pull up. Give me 1 second here. I might can get some of my journaling done, kind of in between all of this. So I have a document for already made for a block, 4x6 block. But let's see, beauty in the brokenness. So I'm going to do like a strip. I think that's spelled right. Let me see, broken. Oh, I need two N's, brokenness. And I think I usually pick about, let me see, if I'll do 18 point for my font. On that, I know y'all can't see what I'm doing. And I usually use like maybe 11 or 12 point for my journaling. I think this is what, let me look. Let me do this one. 1 second, please. I was going to try to go ahead and I think I'll do it just like that. Okay, so I need like a 4x6 piece of white willow. So when I'm scrapbooking, I'm using white willow as my card base. So I do like to use white willow for all the rest of my, if I'm stamping, since the basic white is a little warmer in tone than the basic white or the white willow is, you can tell the difference sometimes. So this is basic white, and that's the white willow. All right, I'm going to stick this in my printer real quick and go ahead and print that out so you can see. I probably would normally adjust my font, but I'm to be like a 4x4 square. But I'm going to cut this down and we'll use some paper, designer series paper, to maybe make a border or something. All right. Well, let's figure out our title here. And I think, let me see if I want it up high. So beauty in the brokenness, and maybe have a strip down here. Or I could even use some of these. That might work. All right, let's reach over here and get. Okay, so this is what I ended up with for my journaling. So I'll trim a little bit off the side. And I'm going to go pretty close to that. We have So this will go right in here. And then I'll go ahead and trim down that. So it's not going to fit in my 4x4. So I'm going to do it a little different. Oops. So I've got that piece. And then this one, I'm going to print. Or that right there. All right, now I've got that piece. I'll probably put some up here and some over here. And we'll just do some designer series paper. I think I could put it like right in here on some designer series paper. And same thing with this one. It'll just be on the bottom here, like that. So we'll do that here in 1 second. So let me get my silicone mat. And let's get our title down. Oh, I know, Christine. Just subtle little differences. Alrighty. I want 1 second, please. My Jasper, the black cat, sheds so bad. I'm trying to keep him off my table. All right, so I want to grab something to help me kind of line this up. Keep it as straight as possible. Still, I wiped my whole counter down yesterday, and I keep finding his hairs everywhere. And he's like my favorite kitty. He's so sweet. I just don't like his shedding. All right, I need to see the distance. About like that, I think. And if you wanted to run this, put some adhesive sheet on the back, you could do that. I decided I didn't really care for the adhesive sheets that much. It was more work than it was worth to me. All right, I think I can do this now without needing that. Oh, my E may need to come up a little bit. See if I can pop it up. All right. And I'm just going to put it right under there. since I've got the flip flap there, can't really go any further. I can go right to about there. And I'm not sure if I want, I mean, I don't know, that would be good, probably. I can probably turn it. Well, can't quite. Looking at the different ways that I can do this. That's probably good if I do that. Something like that. Kind of goes along with the title. Mm, okay, so kind of the same thing, just lightly put a little bit of adhesive. And I think I like it better kind of going out like that, maybe. I don't know, maybe I'll do that. Yeah, I think I like that. I think I like it okay, not connecting to anything. I could put a flower right through there too. That would be pretty. So we'll look at that here in a second. And this can actually, yeah, I think that'll be pretty to have a little bit of a flower, some flowers in there. All right. So let's do the rest of these. This is how I wanted to use these. Put a little bit of adhesive and thinking different places. Let me do these bigger ones first. Since I used some in here, I may only need to do like, that's, I guess that's okay. Maybe I was going to say, because it's almost the exact same position. I'll do that, something like that. All right. So curious how you would scrapbook using this collection. What would you scrapbook about? You could do something as simple as you have a broken piece of pottery, or do something. Let's brainstorm some ideas. I don't know how much I want to go like that. Put some down here, but do it in a different way. There we go. Something like that. So it could be anything that was broken, it could be a physical object. Let me move this out of the way and kind of so we can see, visualize this and where we need some more. That fits just about perfect there. Could be like cracked walls in a home, fixing something like that. Love to hear your ideas. Yeah, I'm just kind of going around here. Gonna work, I think. I'm gonna try to use up all these little pieces. I only have these two left. Oh, like I need a little bit more over here. What if I just do it close to that? And that kind of goes with the title. Right in there, I think. Or let's see, like that. I'm drawing a blank. Hello, Z. Uh-oh. Well, my artwork's not for sale. Thank you, though. I'm guessing. 1 second. I need to make sure my volume's down. I think it. 1 second. Alrighty, there we go. Where was I going to put this right in here somewhere? Can I make it meet up there? I think so. There we go. My son-in-law is from Japan and they recently took a trip back there, and I'm hoping to use this kit to scrapbook their trip. Perfect. All right, sorry, that was some spam that I had to take care of real quick. All right, I'm going to do it somewhere up in here. Let's see what kind of, maybe I'll just use the same paper kind of as a background. Okay, I have an idea. So I think I cut this at 4 inches, which will be perfect. I'll cut that off and then I'll cut it at 4. So this will be like my journaling block. I'll do that for both those pieces, both my journaling areas. And then I've got the, find my smaller scrap. Yeah, I've got the gold foil, and I'm gonna do it like 1/8 of an inch. That might be a little bit more than, might be 4 1/4. I can put it at the top and the bottom. Well, I don't know if it's not a full 4 inches. I guess that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and do it, and then I may print out my cardigan or my journaling one more time, and then leave that at 4 inches wide. I didn't think that through all the way. All right, and we're getting just about, since we got our title done, we're getting close to being done. Let me print that one more time. Print. Okay, and then we'll come back and do that here in 1 second. That way this piece will go all the way across, and then I can just do the gold pieces above and beyond, above and below. That'll go up there. And this one will go right down here. So I can go ahead and adhere this right there. And this way, I'm just going to have my journaling done. I want it about right there. This piece is going to go up here, and then this piece. I think I'm going to see if I can cut just a sliver off that. There we go. This one's going to go down here. This is going to tell a little bit about the Kintsugi technique. Need to bring this in. There, it's simple like that. And then we'll do this one up here, same thing. We'll do it on here like this. And just centering it. Do the exact same thing. And then we can slide this in here. So do it like this. I didn't do a date. Whoops. I didn't adhere all the way down. Let me get that squished. So I'm going to have to print out a date here in a little bit too. But I'll do that when I'm done. And just put it on the outside somewhere here. Well, it still did it. Let's get that. There we go. I must not have gotten enough adhesive up in there. Okay, so there's that one. And I think I want to, I'm trying to think if I want, what I want to do, if I want to keep it white. Maybe we could do, looking at my, maybe I should bring in just a little bit of that back there. What do you think? Let me see here. Do, will that be too much? I'm not sure. Pop that up again, tuck that up into there and see. I do that. I think I like it. And then that way I don't have to cut any more of these pieces. Just needed something else, and that's, so I'm gonna pull this piece up, cut out of there, and then we'll put this back here. Build up our little cluster. I think I am gonna cut a few flowers, maybe. I think I just about have to have 3 of these. And we'll do 2. A lot of gold. I don't know what I did with that other flower. Oh, it's right there. Do that right there. I'm gonna tuck it in right up in here. There we go. And just do something similar up here. Oh, but I want to change this out. Good morning, Jana. I was going to tell you that my stepdaughter and her family, her husband and our grandson, they just moved to Corpus Christi. So we'll be coming down there to visit at some point once they get settled in. Thought about you the other day. I was like, oh yeah, she's in Corpus Christi too. All right, there's that. And okay, and just trying to find a little bit of joy. My little tagline, restoring joy through creativity in the midst of this tragedy that we've had happen here in the Texas Hill Country. I was so happy this morning, right before I went live, I came across a business in Bernie that they're asking for cards for the first responders. One of the ladies' husbands is a firefighter, I think she said, and he will be taking cards directly to the front lines to hand out for encouragement. And that is exactly what Debbie and I were working on last Thursday, making cards. And I was just trying to figure out the best way to get our cards to the right people. And God just kind of dropped that in our lap. So I'm going to be going to Bernie tomorrow with the cards that we worked on and then find out what else they need and how many they would like. Oh, that's such a good verse, too. That's one of my favorites. Beauty out of ashes. Excellent. Thank you. All right. So I want to find some scrap of, well, it doesn't have to be a scrap necessarily, but of the petal pink. Let me see what I got here real quick. Probably just use cardstock, but let's see what pieces I have. Because there's this designer series paper too, but I don't think I want to use it to cut these flowers. I thought I put some cardstock in here, but maybe not. Let me see. Thought I had all the colors of cardstock, but I'm not. Well, I do have a little bit. There we go. That's what I had. This was the 8.5 by, this was 8.5 by 8.5. So this was what was left over. So I'll use that to cut a few of these flowers. So you can kind of see me in action. We're just going to do a few of those. I can put them around some of these pieces, maybe too, and then add. Really, then all I need to do, I think, is add some of the little flowers, flower gems, whatever they're called. These, a few of these flower accents, and we'll be done. So let's see what this looks like. A lot of little things to poke out. So maybe I won't do a bunch of them. Got my little tool somewhere back here, but it's probably just as easy just to do this real quick. Okay, there we go. So I wanted to put like right there. Guess I'll be sweeping here in a little bit. Let me do a few more, see if I can put it up in here, use as much of the paper as I can. How about I do like 5 of these? And see where's the hole to get there it is, to get it out of there. Well, there's that one. I do need to, sorry, gotta pop the pieces out or it may not cut properly. Okay, there we go. Yeah, just do it like that. I'm just thinking odd numbers, so we'll scatter them around in a couple of places. So that's 3. Almost all the way through this time. That one looked a lot in here. I gotta punch. See, I'm just having to punch all the little thingies out real quick. I'm just doing them off into the floor. And see it kind of imprinted on those that are going to pop out. Let's see here. And one more. Oh, and I was wondering, oh, I'm going to make a card. So this color combination is beautiful. It's very soft and soothing, which is perfect. But then I'm going to do a card for Thursday. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to get that out of there. Using the global project, I forget what it's called, challenge with their color challenge this week. So I'll do something a little different, and that color is going to be, let me show you what I'm going to do real quick while I'm thinking about it. This is their color combo. So I'll be using this collection in these colors for my Thursday treat card. I'm going to do a card and then just have it scheduled to post. Because starting Wednesday, we will be doing our album retreat from 3:30 here in Texas. It's 3:30 to 11:30 in the evening. All right, let me get all these little pieces popped out. I'll kind of have to decide where I'm going to put them. I'm not sure yet. That looks like a little heart. So when you don't clean out your die, sometimes these little negative pieces they don't cut out very well. They don't want to come off. That almost happened with that one. So, no, we'll see. 2 more here real quick, and we'll be done. Somewhere around here. I don't know. May just put it over top of it. I'm not sure yet. What did I see? I'm gonna pull. Sometimes I don't see, I don't know about if this is y'all's problem too, but sometimes I just don't see how the dies work together until I see an example. I should have looked at what the page number was. I don't remember. I think I made it. It's right in here. There we go. All right, so I'm not really seeing it on that, maybe in this one. So see how they used those there. That's about really the only example that I have. I don't need my liquid glue. I need this. Could have done some blue, I guess, but I didn't. So I'm just kind of thinking I will put them right like that. I don't know if I want it up there. That seems like too close. I think I need it down here. And I may not use all five of them. Maybe I'll just use like, have a good day. Just gonna layer that one there. Let me pull these out of the way. And so maybe here, 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 and down here. I think that's gonna work. So just four, I guess. I'm just gonna lay it over top of this one. All righty. There's a lot going on there. That works. Okay, no more. And let's do a couple of the gems and we'll be done. Maybe just a big one and a little one. Let's see. I'm just kind of looking. I'll do it like right there. I'm gonna do something down here. And kind of where the flowers are, I guess. Okay, I think that's it. There's a lot going on there. A lot of patterns, but I think I like it. There's our gold foil to kind of help with our journaling. Global design project. Thank you, Jana. That's it. So that's going to be a super pretty color combination for that. All right, there is our Kintsugi Inspirations 12 by 12 scrapbook layout. I've been making so many single page 12 by 12 scrapbook pages lately that I was a little intimidated last night. I don't know why, to make a 12 by 12. It feels like it's only been a couple of weeks, but all right. I love it. I didn't share. Let me share this real with y'all real quick. I had a few other, well, I just had one photo. I had thought about putting that in a sleeve, but I don't think I will on this one. I think I'll do my own photo, but this is the screenshot that my brother sent me July 4th. I guess it was in the morning before lunchtime. Courtney and Allison, they're twins. They're my cousins as well. So Steve is my cousin, and he and his wife were on the river at the HTR RV camp. And this was the post that Courtney made. They had found, someone had found their mom clinging to a tree. They had been swept away in their RV. They got out with their dogs, grabbed onto some debris, and unfortunately, Steve and the dogs lost grip and he did not make it. Unfortunately, we found out Thursday. They found his body Wednesday or Thursday, identified him, and the girls notified the family, of course. And I heard from my mom, and then they posted that he was lost in the flood. So this is my mom's aunt. So it's her dad's sister. This is her son right here. And he passed away in the floods. I can't even fathom or imagine. It took almost a week for them to find him. And so just be in prayer for Marilyn. She's been in the hospital. She had one of her hands was mangled to the point she had to have surgery, and she'll probably have to have some skin grafts, is my understanding. And then pray for their daughters, Courtney and Allison. So I appreciate y'all joining me today. Keep us and everyone in Texas, especially, it's all over the state right now, the flooding and the loss of life. But in the brokenness that we've experienced, that was what this page was kind of about. There has been beauty with the search and rescue teams. The community has come together, the state, the country, the world really has come together around Kerr County, especially. And I haven't looked to see what the latest um, numbers are, but it's well over 100 that have perished in these floods. And then I'm still hearing that there's like 170 people missing. I haven't heard the latest. I can't even imagine. Ugh, just heartbreaking. So, thank you for joining me here to spread a little joy in the brokenness and through our creativity. And if you would like to help with cards for the first responders, for the businesses and individuals that are coming, they're just flocking to our area to help in any way they can. And I thought that there was some way I could use Stampin' Up and the supplies that I have on hand to share a little bit of hope and encouragement that I would do my part. And thankfully, I found a group that is going to take cards straight to the front lines and share some encouragement with them. So holler at me, message me, and I'll see how we can make that happen together. So God bless you all. Take care. And I might be live on Wednesday morning to do story and sketch. but I won't be live on Friday because my space will be in disarray from the album retreat. So looking forward to that. So thank y'all. See y'all soon. Bye bye.